What's happening, Shredder Nation? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to episode number 93 of Living the Shredder Life. I'm your host, Jesse James Jamnik, the ER Shred Health Coach / Nutrition Coach Ambassador. And I'm really excited for this week's call. You know, my mission every single Tuesday is to bring you another amazing deep dive of somebody from our community or some sort of research, science, new upcoming thing that can actually help serve your life to move the needle for you to get one step closer to your dream, your vision, your success, your goals. That's really what ER Shred community is all about, service and helping of other people. And tonight I have an amazing person that I've had the privilege of watching really make a lot of mindset shifts and breakthroughs and, different things along the way. So I'm excited. Welcome to the call, Chris Albright. How are you?
Hi, Jesse.
I'm excited. Welcome to Livin the Shredder Life. You've never been here before.
I haven't. I've been on Sean's call and I've done the 5 questions with Crystal, but this is my first Jesse call.
But you've watched so many of these, right?
Always.
Yeah. Awesome. Always. And I appreciate that. What do you, I'm always curious, like, what do you think of them? Have they helped you? Do you love the stories? What have you gotten from them?
I love the stories. I always go away with at least one thing, awesome. Usually more that helps me. I can't believe since I've started ER Shred how much I have learned about me and just everything.
Yeah. That makes me, first of all, thank you, because, I shared with you when we were kind of not live here, but people think that I don't have fears or, things don't hold me back. And it's like, every time I'm like, man, did we do that right? Did we get enough out? Did we serve people the right way? So I appreciate you letting us know that you walk away with something every time, because really for me, that's what it's all about. Like, how much can I get and share with other people? So hopefully other people can learn and, shift the needle and just make whatever changes they're looking for to make in their life, whatever those may be. And really what I loved so much about your answer, Chris, I just got to tell you, is that you've learned so much about you. And yet, this is obviously an 11-day protocol. We focus on health. We focus on nutrition. But the coolest part that I've come to realize over the last couple of years is like the power that it has inside of people and the power that it gives back to you guys. And nobody's really talking about the weight. They're always like, oh, that's the byproduct, So I love that you've learned so much about you. So before we dive into that, for people that don't know you, where are you from? Where do you live now? What's your passion? What's your life look like? What do you like to do?
Well, I live in Florida now, and We've been here for about 4 years. I'm originally from Michigan, and I'm retired, and I'm so glad we moved to Florida. Like I was telling you, I really believe if we hadn't moved, I would have never retired. And I love retirement, and I love Florida. And one of the promises I made to myself when I retired, that I was going to take care of me. And which is one of the reasons I'm on this call, because this typically isn't me. You don't see me doing the lives. You don't see me doing, I comment a lot. I'm always on the Shred. In fact, when I go on Facebook, I'm just on the ER Shred page. But I do this because it does keep me accountable. So when you reached out, like I said to you, I would have never reached out to you, but I thought to myself, okay, why does he want to talk to a postmenopausal 65-year-old with toxic scale syndrome? And then when I said to you, when I thought about it, I thought of what I got from the calls, and hopefully something I say will hit someone. I started Isogenics in May of 2015. Originally, I lost 40 pounds. It took me a year to lose 40 pounds. And but I never, ever got to my goal. I still would like to lose 15 or 20 pounds. And I will.
Yeah.
And if, when it comes, it'll come. I started the shred. I started ER shred in March of 2021. In my first shred, I lost 10 pounds and 12 inches.
Wow.
But I'm still working on my goal. That was it. And I'm okay with that because I've learned from you and many others is that I'm still learning me. I'm still learning my health blueprint, not just my food blueprint, but my health, my whole health.
Yeah.
It may take me another year to get to my goal. And like I said, I'm okay with that because what I've learned is that I'm trusting the process. And once I've committed to ER shred, I began to feel the differences. And I've learned one of the biggest things I've learned about ER shred is that it's the best part of isogenics. It made a world of difference, and it goes much deeper than the meats and the shakes. It's way, 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 way deeper than that.
Yeah.
And it just is so interesting to me to learn that much and to be able to have absorbed everything. I thought that's when I really have to make the commitment. And that's when I did make the commitment because I began to feel the differences. Even though I wasn't losing the weight and getting where I wanted to get, I felt the energy, I felt the strength, I felt the clarity, I felt all of the intangibles. I always say ER shred is about the intangibles because it's so hard for me to explain to someone, the feelings that I have gotten from it. It might sound weird because I haven't lost that last 15 or 20 pounds, but I feel leaner. I don't feel as flabby as I did. I feel the strength. I feel stronger. And I feel like I finally have a, I call it like a positive, confident contentment.
Okay.
The confidence enough in my journey that I will get to where I want to be. And I won't turn back.
Yeah.
There's not turning back because this now is a lifestyle for me.
Wow.
And I'm content because although I feel great, I know that I can always feel better. And I know that I'm a work in progress. And I'm so much more confident that I don't need the scale to feel like that. I don't need it as much.
Wow.
That's a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
I've learned to focus and listen to my body. I allow my body much more to tell me how I feel and not the scale. And I'm confident enough to stop dieting, to stop reading diet books, which I did all my life, to stop binging, to feel and focus and commit. And I know now that my scale was just a crutch that never ever did me any good, never helped me. So I'm going to do something today.
Okay.
I'm going to smash my scale.
Okay.
Now,
when do you want to do that? Like now or at the end? Like
I'm going to do it right now.
You're going to do it right now. You go for it. I'll just sit here and enjoy it all.
I have another scale. This is my trusty forever scale that I've used since I started isogenics.
Okay.
I have another scale. It's in my husband's bathroom. It's tucked away in a closet, but this is the big one.
Okay.
And
I had no idea that you were doing this. This is like a surprise to me.
Well, I have it here just in case. And I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to smash it. I'm going to, why do I need it?
Yeah.
I really don't need it. I made the commitment. So I'm smashing it.
You're going to smash it. Yeah. So
I have the hammer and I have the scale.
Yeah.
I also have a bag. I don't want this to go all over the place.
Okay.
So I think I can do it.
This is awesome. Being the shit on the scale.
Oh, I smashed it.
You smashed it.
Yeah. all smashed in.
Let's see. Do you have it? Let's see.
The glass is all smashed in. This
Oh, yes.
plastic,
You can't read it? Yep.
no, yeah. So I won't be able to read it.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's done. That's freeing. That's very, very freeing. I feel good. Yeah. I sure don't feel bad about doing that.
Wow. Did you expect yourself not to feel bad? Because I know you've mentioned that you know, when people say like you're when you say that you were an addicted scale person, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? Like this is a big deal. Like I don't think people realize like how did you feel when you just smashed that? Like what kind of feelings like did you just process through your body? I'm just curious to know that.
It just felt like I was letting my past of unhealthy things go. Okay. I thought, you know what? I made the commitment, and I have to do something for myself that is going to seal the deal. It's going to it's just going to really get me on my way. Yeah. There's so much more. Like I said, there's so much more to ER Shred than the meats and the shakes. Yeah. It's everything. And I am definitely learning my why. And this is a whole big part of it. After what
is that? Do you mind sharing some of it?
Well, you know, after seeing so many people lose 50, 60, 100 pounds, there was a time when I was getting a little discouraged, and you could tell from some of my comments and stuff like that. And I thought, well, that's okay. I made a commitment. I have a retirement promise to myself to be true to me and spend time on me and my health. And you have reminded me many times that it took me 65 years to get here. So it's not going to be a year journey for me. And the people that it is a year journey for, well, I mean, God bless them. I'm really happy for them that it worked out that way. It took me a year to lose 40 pounds. I'm thrilled that I kept it off. But I have, I was thinking about it, and throughout my life, I don't have many regrets. The one regret I do have is that I didn't take better care of my health, but I always had excuses. Now I don't have excuses. And, you know, my excuses were I didn't have time. I worked, the house, the family, genetics, my big fat Italian family. I have a big fat Italian family. We're all chubby. I've been chubby all my life. And, you know, to Italians, food is love. Food is a cure. If you don't eat, you're sick. You don't eat. My mom's like, oh, you know, I mean, she was, God bless her. Do you have a fever? And we didn't have to be hungry to eat. Right. I remember the first time my husband came over for dinner on a Sunday before we were married, and my mom made, you know, the big pasta dinner and everything, and there's 8 kids in my family. He stopped eating, and my mom looked at him, and she said, "What's wrong, Dorn? He's not Italian. What's wrong, Dorn? Don't you feel good? You're not eating anymore." Yeah. He goes, "No, I'm just not hungry anymore." Well, 20 heads turned and looked at him, and we're like, "Not hungry anymore? What the hell does that feel like?" Yeah. Like, in number one, and number two, you don't have to be hungry to eat. Right. My brothers used to say, "Stop at the white, it's the plate." Yeah. You know, we always had to belong to the Clean Plate Club. And that's my big fat Italian family. That's a big, huge, deep thing. Yeah. It's a lot to get over, to be able to leave something on my plate. And in my mission of self-discovery, in ER Shred, you always hear, eat until you're satiated. Guess what? I didn't know what that felt like. Right. I only know what full stuff to the gills felt like. That's all I knew. Yeah. I didn't know what satiated felt like. And so I had to learn that. I had to learn that, and I wanted to learn. to eat when I was hungry, to
Mm-hmm.
stop when I was satiated, to stop eating out of boredom,
Mm-hmm.
and not because I enjoyed the ritual of eating or the company. You know, there was a celebration, so it was always food.
Mm-hmm.
It was always, um, it just was in the mechanics of eating, you know, that snacking, like popcorn was always my favorite. My little nephew, one time my sister said, asked him if he wanted a snack. He said, yeah, Mom, but I want a long snack. And guess what? I knew exactly what the kid meant.
Right.
I knew by what he meant by a
Yeah.
long snack. He
Yeah.
wanted a little chocolate kiss. He
Yeah.
wanted like a bowl of popcorn. He
Right.
wanted something that was going to last him.
Yeah.
Well, it's that's what I have always enjoyed, the mechanics of eating.
Mm-hmm.
The you sit down and watch TV, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you eat,
Yeah.
and so it was a lot to learn over again and learn
Mm-hmm.
differently, and I'm still learning. I I am learning to delete my inconsistencies and correct 65 years of inconsistencies in never maintaining good health for me.
Mm.
So that's a big part of my why
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I have to learn all of this.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that because, um, you know, the health coach in me is like doing backflips, just so you know. This is like a conversation that I hear at like the end of like a 6 month, coaching program. And we've made all these breakthroughs and piece by piece by piece, we've chipped away, chipped away, chipped away. 90% of it is the mindset, the mentality. The nutrition side really comes easy once you flip the script in your mind and you start to realize that food is life, but in a different way than maybe what you learned or how you grew up. And I just want to commend you, Chris, because that's a lot of hard work. I mean, to be able to do that, like, you're right, like those emotional connections that you have with family, those celebrations, those connections with your mom, they run deep. And I'm not Italian, but I've been to Italian feast, and I get it. I totally get it. So I'm like laughing on the inside. But I really hope that some of the key things that I hope people are picking up on with your vulnerability and sharing is that it's not an overnight journey. Be forgiving with yourself, but be consistent. Be determined enough to not give up if something goes. Be open-minded enough to understand that you got some unlearning to do, some relearning. You got to erase the canvas and then create the new art piece. And this all is a process, right? This is what I talk about now is the phases, so to speak, of ER Shred, right? Like, we all start
Yes.
off in that fresh phase, and it's kind of like the unknown, right? It's kind of scary. Like, you got all these past things. You didn't even know what satiated was. So, I think that I really just hope people are really tuning in. In fact, if you are, drop some comments, let Chris know, let myself know, what is it that's standing out? Do you suffer from any of this? Are these any things that have held you back before? Because I promise, you're so brave for doing this, Chris, because I know you're not the only one. I know you're not the only one out there. And for people to see all this work and for you to be around for, over a year now and still chugging and still understanding. And really the most beautiful thing is that for you, it's like, hey, I know I still got a place to go. That's a beautiful thing to have. Like, our brains need that. We need that every day to have something to go towards, right? And now you're okay with going solely off of how you feel versus before your thermostat was, okay, I'm this heavy person, and then I did this diet and I lost weight. Well, you never really had that why. You never had that connection. You were just this heavy person losing weight, where now you're this amazing, beautiful, awesome human being who happened to kind of learn wrong things. You've gained some weight. You didn't do the right things, but you can identify that. And now you're like, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to flip this script, and I'm going to walk the other way. And I'm doing it not to be skinny. I'm doing it because I'm amazing and I deserve it. And you're focused on health. I mean, everything that you just talked about, all I heard was like health, health, health in the bigger scheme of it, right? It's not just about
Yes.
the food that we eat. It's the connections, the relationships, the self-talk, the self-belief, the feelings that we have towards ourselves. So, I mean, Chris, these are amazing things. Like, I know you're spitting it and talking about it. I just want to highlight those for you. Like, that's a lot to celebrate. I know when I reached out to you, can I share this with people?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you did it too, but she literally was like, I don't get it. Like, I'm not where I need to be. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. You're exactly where you need to be. And you know, I love that you've been able to just kind of keep chipping away at that false armor, those false stories that you've been told and in your subconscious believed, and now you're literally creating that whole new picture. So kudos to you. For people out there, Chris, like, what are some things that have helped you? So I know you've talked about you've been able to learn, but I mean, not even a year ago, you were the old Chris still. You were addicted to the scale. You would live your life based on this number that really didn't depict the person you are. You were fighting food addiction. You had these connections. Like, are there any like really things that stick out to you that are like high level value tips that you can share with people that you've done to help you through this?
I think the biggest thing is, and you kept saying it to me over and over whenever I was whining. That's all you would say is you have 65 years of crap to clean up.
Yeah.
You know, you have 65
Yeah.
years. And, you know, I always thought in the past, like my numbers, because I knew my cholesterol and I knew my blood pressure. And I
Yeah.
thought because I knew my numbers,
Yeah.
and my doctor said that they were okay,
Mm-hmm.
that I was okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the depth of it. And I think learning my health in depth, which that's still a process too. Like my cholesterol is elevated,
Mm-hmm.
but okay because my LDL is not too bad. My HDL is great, um, but not just that. It's like I keep saying, it's feeling the difference. My
Mm-hmm.
numbers didn't tell me how I felt
Right.
when I went for my labs. Didn't matter what they said. I
Mm.
wasn't having chest pains or palpitations, or
Right.
it didn't tell me that I felt stronger or
Yeah.
leaner or I had more energy. Those numbers didn't tell me that. They were just
Yeah.
numbers on the paper.
Yeah.
Um,
So is this like learning to trust your intrinsic voice a little bit
yes,
more? Is that what you're?
yes, and to trust the process
Yeah.
because it's working, because I feel the difference now.
Mm-hmm.
Like just for me, I've gone like almost every 6 months for labs
Mm-hmm.
just to see where I am and to experiment, to find my own blueprint
Beautiful.
and learn about my
Mm.
numbers
Mm.
and why what I'm eating serves me. Like not just learning my inflammatory culprits,
Mm-hmm.
but what I need to do to prevent inflammation. Like for me, it's cruciferous
Cruciferous.
vegetables.
Cruciferous vegetables. Yeah.
Cruciferous
I got
vegetables,
you.
yes. The vitamins and minerals in those vegetables help me to keep my cholesterol in check. And I
Mm-hmm.
know because I've done the experiment before
Mm-hmm.
I go for labs.
Mm-hmm.
I've along with my protein that I have upped
Yep.
since you
Yep.
mentioned that. Um, I, I I need those vegetables
Yeah.
to keep my cholesterol in check,
Yeah.
and it's working. And I can't explain it, but I feel stronger.
Yeah.
And you know, in the past, I kept the best charts ever. I had an administrative position, and I was the best weigher, the best tracker, the best logger, the best counter. I was always dieting and then losing and then binging and losing and binging, losing muscle to gain fat.
Yeah.
And it drove me crazy. Even when I
Mm.
first started isogenics, Jesse, I would, I was so good. But it drove me crazy because I wanted to know why. Like I was only allowed about 1,200 calories.
Mm-hmm.
But after my 2 shakes and maybe a couple broth and my ionics and a couple hydrate, it was already 700 calories. Well, 500 calories just didn't get it for me.
Right.
It just, so it drove me crazy.
Yeah.
And I finally have learned that all that counting, all that tracking, all that, that's all it is tracking. That's why I wanted to smash that scale today.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of crap. It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. So sometimes even your numbers don't mean anything.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And
and I,
you're right, because we're learning that more and more with the newest research that's coming out in the publications. I mean, gosh, you know, again, we don't claim to treat, cure, prevent any sort of disease or anything to that nature. This is Chris's story and Chris's story only. You know, however, we have had a lot of examples of people that do like you do, and they've tracked their blood, and you know, you've come to learn the newest research about cholesterol. And this isn't Jesse's opinion. This is published research, but you nailed it. It's not, you know, total cholesterol numbers anymore is what the science community used to think. It's, you know, it is about your LDL, and it's not just about your LDL, but it's what size of your particles. Are they big and fluffy? Because those aren't dangerous. It doesn't matter if it's up. What's dangerous is if they're the small, tiny particles that actually cause, you know, arterial coagulation. I mean, that's what we got to be worried about, you know? But to have that richness, Chris, I mean, empowerment is a word that we use a lot. It sounds like you are like really becoming empowered. Would you say that with how you feel? And I mean, I feel that in the sense that of way that you talk. Do you feel that?
I do feel it. Now that you say it, yes, I do feel it.
Yeah.
Now that I've made the commitment to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the beginning, I thought I made ER shred difficult. It's very easy. I made it difficult. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna win this.
Mm-hmm.
I am empowered to do that. Because winners do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And if it takes me a year, it takes me a year.
I love it.
But I need to stop logging. I need to stop counting. I need to stop weighing. I need to stop making it difficult for me. All of that was just making it difficult and clouding everything.
Yeah. Well, I love that you can acknowledge it, but I also think it's, you know, just as important to say, you know what, like that was the old me. And I realized, like, you know, I can't do anything about it besides commit to the change, right? And I mean,
Yes.
again, kudos to you because you made this commitment, this retirement commitment. You know, openly admitting that you made it more difficult. You did all the tracking, like, and I love that because I know there's more people out there, Chris. I know there's hundreds, even thousands of people that are stuck in this addicted dieting. It's why I despise the nutrition and fitness industry. It preys on weak people. It goes after their vulnerabilities, and it tries to capitalize. And one of the most beautiful things that I love about ER Shred, which you're doing such an amazing job summing up. So I mean, I can't thank you enough. I'm sure Sean's going to be doing backflips and Susan too when they you know, when they hear this, if they're not on. Like, it's really our goal. Like, our goal is not to, you know, it's like if you're learning business, like there's no such thing as get rich overnight. Like, get it out of your freaking brain. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, if that's your goal, like, it's not going to work. Well, if your goal is to come in and flip your entire health in 11 days, like, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Like,
No.
Yes, you're going to feel some things. Yes, you're going to feel better. Yes, we're going to attack some things that you have no idea how powerful they are. And you're going to feel that quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But really the bigger picture is in the journey. You know, it's in the process. And, you know, you brought up another great thing, like comparison's the thief of all joy. You know, I know it's so easy to be like, oh, that person lost this much in 4 months, but I only did this. Well, you know nothing about that person. You don't know about their health history. You don't know about what they did, if they ever worked out in their life previously, because if that's so, well, your body's really smart and it actually remembers. So you're going to have to do a little less to get to a place than the person that's never done anything before in their entire life. You know, and I think these are all important things to highlight for people, because there's a lot of people that ruin their own journey with comparing themselves to others. And I know you've said that you've done that, and with the tracking and, you know, all of that. So I think it's just a beautiful thing that you're kind of sharing all that to give people that you're giving people permission to be okay with the fact that it's going to take time. And, you know, you've talked a lot now, Chris, about that you're okay with, like, you know, it's not the numbers, and it's when you say it's like how you feel. And I know you talked about, like, what does it mean to you? Like, you feel better, and how does somebody like go off of how they feel versus thinking that it's the numbers, the tracking? Like, how do you make, like, what makes you okay with that shift now, I guess is what do you understand what I'm trying to ask you? Like,
Well, I think so. I think when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like I have to lay in bed and press my snooze alarm, you know, although I don't use an alarm any longer.
yeah.
I even though I can stay in bed if I want to, I wake up and I just want to get out of bed.
Awesome.
I want to get my day going. I want to get started. And even though I don't have a schedule, I never in my life, and I'm not bragging about this, been a big, I've dabbled in exercise.
Okay.
But now I I move more. I'm constantly moving. Like I said to you one time, you stand and do these interviews. Jesse, don't you ever sit? And you said rarely. I
Yeah.
rarely sit. And I find myself doing that now.
That's
And I
awesome.
thought, I can't sit still. I have to be doing something when I'm sitting.
Yeah.
So I'll fold laundry. I'll do something if I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
And I have this energy that I have never had before. That even when I do my exercising throughout the whole day, like I don't get up early in the morning and do 2 hours of exercise and that's it for me. Um, when I watch the ER Shred videos, I'm usually on the treadmill doing steps.
Yep.
I can't sit and watch it. I just
Yep.
can't do that. So that's what it feels like. Even when I make my shake, I have gotten in the habit of when I make my shakes, you know how you want that last drip to come out of the
Yeah.
top, and
Yeah.
so I set it on the cup, and I don't stand there and wait for it to drip. I come in here and I do my plank
Okay.
because I'm up to a minute and a half on my planks, and I have 2 shakes a day, so I do two planks a day, and
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
the cap is dripping, so
Yeah.
it's like I have to be doing
Mm,
something. I
mm,
can't
mm,
sit and wait. As
mm.
my shake is mixing, I'll stand there and I'll do some squats or I'll do something, you know. So if I get 15 squats in, I get 15 squats in.
Yep.
Or I'll do every single day I do that nitric oxide dump that
Yep.
Susan posted.
Yep.
I love that exercise because you can do it anywhere. That's a no excuse exercise. And I do that 3 times a day. So a lot of times I'll do that while my shake is blending. Or I'll just do it. I'll think, oh, it's time for me to do another nitric oxide dump. So I'll just do it wherever I am. I stand
Yeah.
there and do it. I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
And I just do it.
No,
But
I think, you
that's
know,
the feeling. That's the,
yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean,
can't sit.
that's awesome. Cause I mean, and again, guys, you know, the goal is you might not have the same feeling as Chris. Okay. But can you identify, like, oh, wait a minute, you know, if you're a person focusing only on the scale, if you're only focusing on tracking, if you're only focusing on the bad, you're going to miss all these little cues, you know? And, you know, I'm going to give the example again. I heard it from a business mentor of mine, Ed Milet, is one of the most successful businessmen in the world. In his new book, The Power of One More, he talked about compound pounding. And you think of it as like a pinata, right? You know, everybody knows the pinata. You hang it up, you fill it with whatever. We're going to say it's filled with ribeyes instead of candy. And, you know, the first person that goes up and they take a whack, they're not going to break the pinata. Like, they're probably not going to do that. The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, this pinata keeps taking all these hits. And eventually, you know, that last person gets up and they come up and they take one big swing and boom, the pinata just burst open and these big, delicious grass-fed ribeyes just come flying out everywhere. And it's like, yeah, like everybody celebrates that person. But is that really the person that won? And my point to that is no, they're not, right? It's the compound pounding all added together that eventually broke that down. And if you can keep focusing on the way you feel and the energy, and you're adding in these little things, Chris, like the beautiful thing with exercise, people think, because I'm an athlete, they go, oh my gosh, like I can't brutally abuse myself for an hour and a half. And I'm like, I don't expect you to, because I've been doing this for 20 years, nor do I think that I'm normal. Like what I do is not normal. It's just my personal joy. So you can't take what my personal joy is and compare it to you. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work. But I do the same thing, Chris. And I noticed that when I do it, whether it's in business or I do it in personal or relationships or anything I'm working on, if I just keep focusing on little tiny wins, like you'll get that plank in, and then you'll get another plank, and then you'll get the squats. But because you're doing the workout in the morning and you're fueling your body for peak performance, not only are you burning calories during your workout, you're burning calories that people don't think about. And there's actually a term, it's non-exercise, it's called NEAT, non-exercise something, whatever. I forgot the word of it now. It's going to come to me in a minute, but it's actually a real thing. And what NEAT is all the extra calories you're burning outside of your workout. So if you're standing more, if you're fidgeting when you're sitting, if you're a person that talks with your hands, when you're typing, when you're watching TV, you're burning calories. And if you can burn more calories in the same amount of time, right, you're starting to shift that body composition, because it's not just about burning the calories, but you're doing that in combination with the right mindset, sleep, focusing the right way, positive self-talk, working out in the morning. So now your body's building more muscle. Muscle's going to burn more calories and more energy throughout the day than fat. Like now you have like all this compound pounding that's coming together from all these angles. And then boom, it all of a sudden turns into the overnight success, which we know doesn't exist, but that's the belief, right? So that's kind of like what I hear is like when you're sharing all of that you're kind of able to put that all into play now. And it's just been by little tiny things. You're like, oh, I heard this. So then I incorporated it. And I figure I could do this. So then I just did that. And I hope more people can learn from that, because that's such a beautiful tip and high value tip, I think. So that's awesome that you're able to do that. What eventually, like, what was the big aha moment for you? Can you pinpoint like an aha moment where you're like, I'm not these numbers anymore. I'm not this scale. Like, was it when you did the 11-day shred and had the realization, like the smack in the face of like, oh wow, this is how powerful food really is? Or was it something else? Like, do you remember?
I think it took a while. I mean, my very first shred, I did have that come alive moment. And it was like, I wanted to stay there. I wanted to keep that feeling. But as time went on, I think that instead of like really learning my blueprint, like to be okay with vegetables, with the broccoli and stuff like that, I don't want to say that I abused the shred, but I was shredding so much and I was cleansing so much that I almost felt like it wasn't doing me any good. And as I read about different foods, like Susan will post things on different beets and things like that. And everything I've learned on the ER Shred Facebook page, I really absorbed everything, and I experimented with it. So it took me a while to have that aha moment, but as I was experimenting more and learning my blueprint, even with exercising, like exercising throughout the day, like I feel like I'm doing something all day. all day. I'm doing something. I just felt like, I think as I learned my own blueprint, and not just in food, in exercising and moving and everything, as I learned more about me and my health, that that became more of an aha moment.
Mm.
Each time I learned something more about me, it was like, yeah, now I get it. Now I know what this means. Now I know what it means to have my own blueprint, and not just with food.
Yeah.
I always read about the blueprint with food, but
Yep.
to me, it's not just with food.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's the
For
whole
sure.
picture. And then learning that there was nothing that I couldn't do, and I didn't need the scale to do it. I feel like I can do it. Might
Yeah.
take me a while, and I'm okay with that, because
Yeah.
I'm okay with getting stronger in the process.
Right.
But it's never too late. It's
Yeah.
never too late to be what you might have been.
For sure.
It's not ever too late.
For sure. Especially when it comes to health. I can
Right.
tell you that right now, because the human body is the most amazing, fascinating creation on the face of the planet. And all it needs is the right rocket fuel. And baby, it's gonna light on fire, and it's gonna take off, and
Right.
that's the beautiful thing. That's the blueprint, right? It's figuring out, again, wiping the canvas clean, starting with that fresh slate, and then really being able to experiment and play. And we do that intentionally in the shred. Like I don't know, like I'm really being honest with people. Like I don't know what foods are going to serve you the best. I know the individual things, and I know foundational health and what every human being needs to thrive, right? Which is, the amino acids from proteins to the building blocks of life. And we need hydration. We need to be properly hydrated. We need to move our body. It creates amazing things. Like, I mean, that's one of the easiest, like, low-lying fruit things that you could possibly do to radically affect your health. But after that, it's like, I don't know what foods are going to serve you. And that's one of the most beautiful things, is like, we can guide you, we can give you the tracks, we can educate you. And like you're saying, like, you got to learn it, you got to play with it. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. Like, now you have an answer. And then every time you create a new answer, it goes back to that compounding. It makes you mentally stronger. It makes you a bigger believer in yourself. You're starting to feel better. Like every day you're getting stronger. You're feeling better. You got more energy. Like your mind's better. Like these are all amazing things that I think so many people forget about if we go back to like even the old way you did it, where we're just looking at the number on the scale, or we're worried about what we're tracking, and we're losing our shit if we have a so-called off day, whatever that means. You know what I mean? Like, or we hit a speed bump, as I call them now. Like, it's like we think that the world's going to end. It's like, no, like that's just a bump in the road. You just hit the gas and keep going, So that's so awesome. So I know we're not food, but I know there's so many people that are curious. First of all, you said something really amazing to me that I'm really glad you brought up. You felt like you were abusing the shred, and I feel like a lot of this might have been tied to the addiction to food, the addiction to the scale. You thought you needed the cleansing to feel better and get this optimal thing of health that you had in your mind, and you thought you needed it to lose weight. Like, what's your feelings now? Like, I know you brought that up. Like, what's your thoughts towards that now? How do you feel about this new thing we're doing, where we're kind of using it as the tool and learning how to really kind of place it the right way?
I'm excited about it, because I mean, I get excited anytime I introduced something new to my blueprint that will help me in my health journey.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about even the cleanse days. I feel like my I was doing the 11 days so much, at least once a month,
Yep.
and sometimes twice a month. And I
Yep.
thought, I need to change this up. I don't feel like I'm getting the same benefit as I got the first time.
Right.
So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the changes. And anytime there is something else introduced. I'm excited to try it. I want to, even in my mind, when I heard that, I thought, I know what I'm going to do on my first shred. I'm going to do the 1-day cleanses. I don't think I'm going to stop eating my broccoli. I'm going to still eat my broccoli. I'm going to still eat, and I'm going to see how that 11 days goes.
Yes.
I'm going to see how that does. I'm excited to experiment with these things and really finding, like, if I can say, wow, I did my first 11-day and I did 1-day cleanses and I still ate my broccoli and everything, and this is what happened and this is what I felt. Now I know what to look for in how I feel. I know how, I know what that difference is. I know how I want to feel.
Yeah.
So that to me is really exciting, and to know myself that well.
Yeah. That's power. That's powerful.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I just got over COVID. I mean, my COVID I didn't think I would ever get it because I was a shredder.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was ever going to get, I'm not going to get that COVID.
Yeah.
Well, I did get it, and I didn't even realize I had it.
Yeah.
And I didn't test because I thought, I'm not going to be a statistic. I don't even give a shit.
Yeah.
I had a fever. I did, after 3 days, I called the doctor and did a telehealth thing because I had the sore throat.
Yeah.
And, but my fever went away. It was like I got these symptoms 1 day at a time, and then 1 day at a time, my fever went away. I have a little bit of a cough now, but it's in 3 days, I felt better. And my body was already telling me, like, after the 4th day, you can get up and start doing something. I was afraid to do too much because I didn't want to relapse. But by the 5th day, I was already doing a plank again, and but I wasn't doing it for a minute and a half. I thought, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to force myself to do it long. I'm not going to force myself to do 2. I'm not going to. I really pay attention on the feelings, and what my body is telling me. There's a huge difference in what I did before when I was dieting and what I do now for my health.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, that, like, I just want to highlight that again, because, man, you keep saying that over and over, and I really want people to pull this. I mean, if you pull anything from this at all, really listen to what she keeps telling you, because she's sharing with you how addicted she was and how terrible that was and what that did for her life and how it didn't serve her. But yet she understands, because she thought that it did. And now everything that she shared is like, it's having an open mind. Instead of freaking out about change, being excited for change. Let me share a secret with you. Change is the only constant in life. Like, things are always going to change. And if you're not willing to be open and attack things and try them out and figure out where it fits in your life and how can this serve you, or how does it not serve you? Because if you find out it doesn't serve you, whatever we're talking about, well, that's serving you as well, because now you know something that doesn't move you forward, right? And we start to just keep flipping the script over and over and over again. That's the most beautiful thing. And again, we don't claim, we can't treat you, cure you, prevent you. Chris's journey is her own, but I'm a big believer that, like, being healthy, Chris, is not, I think I actually shared this with you in a direct message, but being healthy is not about never getting sick. I mean, gosh, there's things out there that are just like bad things. But being healthy is having a strong immune system at all times. So if you do get sick, your body can actually turn on and go and fight what it's designed to fight and get you back to your state as fast as possible, because the body wants to be balanced. The body wants to feel good. And if we're doing all these proper things, like feeding ourselves nutrients and vitamins and minerals and trace minerals every day, and moving our body and creating all the amazing benefits from that. And we're working on our mind and we're working on our self-talk, like you're going to bounce back faster. This is why I say, like, health, our protein and getting in those numbers and making sure we take care of our health, like it will make you harder to kill. And it's true, because whether it's COVID, whether it's an injury, a car accident, whatever, if you're not set up to battle whatever's in your way, well, you're gonna be at a disadvantage, right? But if you're doing these things like she's sharing and you have all that, so that's just a beautiful thing. That was kind of like a round little divvy out, but I thought it was important that people understand, like what you just shared is like a great your story. But I look at it from a health side as just this bigger picture, because you've been willing to do everything and do all this amazing work on you. You've put yourself in a situation where, like, when something came, you were able to kick that shit to the curb really quick,
Yeah,
and
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I know you shared that with me. And you're like, I can't believe I bounced back like this. And that's probably because you've gotten sick in the past when you were dieting. You weren't focused on the minerals and the vitamins and the nutrients, so your body wasn't ready, and you probably suffered. And it took you a lot longer. And that's the story that was in your brain of what was going to happen when you got sick. And that's the same thing with people in food and dieting and everything else. Like, it's the same mechanism in our brain. So once you've learned how to shift that, you probably were also in a better mental state, because you're like, listen, I took care of myself. I'm gonna, because I'm sick, I'm not gonna not feed myself the amazing nutrition. Like, that would be silly. Like, I'm gonna give myself all that nutrition.
Yeah. Which, by the way, sorry to interrupt
no,
you,
but
it just came to me. My doctor, he said to me, because I had this sore throat, he said, first of all, he gave me no medication.
Yeah.
He said, I want you to eat protein. And I know you have a sore throat. He said, so protein shakes would be the best. And I thought, got it covered.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, no sugar.
Yeah.
And gargled
Isn't that
with
amazing?
warm salt water. And I thought, wow, everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing. Gargle with warm salt water, protein shakes, and no sugar.
Yeah.
And that's all he said. He said, and I said, that's exactly what I'm doing. He said, then you'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm curious, when you did your telehealth, what kind of doctor did you do a telehealth with?
Just my primary care physician.
Your primary care. Yeah. I want to give your primary care doctor a high five, because if more doctors would prescribe nutrition on their prescription pad like your doctor did, my personal belief is we'd be in a much better state of health. I mean, good gosh, like more protein and no sugar. That's a good doctor, if you ask me. You know what I mean? So Chris, people are always asking, and I know we're not going to tell them, so I just want to share what your journey is. You said that you did the shred, which means that you were hardcore. You removed everything. You did the 11 days over and over and over and over again. And then but now, what does maintenance look like for you? Because I know everybody's always like, okay, what's that end piece? Like, what am I looking forward to? Like, let's give somebody who's just starting off on their first shred, and maybe they got to be restrictive, they got to be rigid, because they got to do the work that you were willing to do first to get to where you're at now. But what does life look like now? Like, do you go out to eat? Do you enjoy foods on an occasion? What does a day-to-day look like for you?
Yeah, we do go out to eat.
Okay.
In fact, tomorrow, it's my brother's birthday, and well, thank God my nephew is barbecuing steaks. But when I go out to eat, I find that now that I've been through all of that, I don't love going out to eat, but when we do, I usually stick with meat and vegetable, fish and vegetable.
Yeah.
I'll order, they'll have like Cajun fish bites for an appetizer, and I'll get that, and then I'll get, I usually stick with that. So I don't not participate in anything. I still go.
Yeah.
But I don't even have like just the thought right now of eating a piece of pizza or something like that, it just isn't appealing to me. Like it doesn't,
Yeah.
not like it was before. And it's so much easier for me. You know, like everyone always says, and I say it now too, you lose your cravings.
Yeah.
If I feel like having something sweet, like tomorrow's my brother's birthday, I made those cookies with the shake and butter and an egg.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring some of
Yep.
those with me because just the thought of having a piece of cake just doesn't sound good. If I felt like having one, I think, okay, I might have a little piece. But right now, standing here right now, it just doesn't sound good. And I'm not just saying that, it just
Yeah.
doesn't sound
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah.
But I'll bring those cookies with me in case, you know, because we're Italian and we're going to sit down and everyone's going to eat and they're going to say, why aren't you eating the cake? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I can pull my cookies out if I need to.
Yeah.
But I still go out to eat. The food just doesn't taste the same, you know, because you know it's not grass-fed beef.
Right.
I always say my favorite place to go have a steak used to be Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Now when we go to Texas Roadhouse, I always say to my husband, and he laughs at me, that it smells like manure.
Yeah.
The steak smells like manure.
Yeah.
And I don't even like to go there anymore.
Yeah.
So it just is weird because even my sense of smell is different since I've been shredding.
Yeah.
But I don't miss out on anything.
Yeah.
And there's so many foods that I don't miss eating. And another thing I don't miss is that stuffed, full, uncomfortable, eat until you feel like puking feeling.
Right.
Because I lived like that for so long. I don't miss that.
Yeah. Yeah.
At all.
That's awesome. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's, you know, I love that you said it's, you know, it just doesn't sound good. It's not that I can't do it, but it just doesn't sound good. You know, that's what I want people to know is there's not like, yes, if you're doing the 11-day, like, yeah, it's a little rigid. There's a reason for it. And I think Chris has highlighted that reason so beautifully this entire last 57 minutes. I mean, it's really about that journey and that learning. And how could you ever get to where she's at mentally and physically and emotionally if you haven't gone through the journey? But like the journey is always evolving. The journey is always growing. The journey is always getting better. Like you're going to keep moving on in different stages and you're going to keep having these things. And it's not that you can't go out to eat, or it's not that you can't go enjoy a glass of wine with the girls if you want, or you can't get with the boys and have a beer. Like it's never been about that, right? Because there is a place for that if that's what you want. And if it's not what you want, then great. Like I'm like you, Chris, like I don't really do that stuff. Like I don't really enjoy going out. Like when I do, I'm more of a breakfast guy. So we'll find like farm to table breakfast places. And like, that's what I enjoy. But like, I'm with you, you know, things taste different. And when your body starts to like, it goes long enough getting fueled properly, you start to even taste the difference in like, wait a minute, that might not be what serves me best. But it doesn't mean that there's not room to still go out and be social. You know what I mean? So thank you for sharing that part too. Like, I think a lot of people think this is like an all or nothing type of thing. And health is not all or nothing. It's the consistency. It's the mind work. It's the being willing, the openness, all the things that we've highlighted throughout this entire call. And I've tried to bring to people. That's really the big picture. That's really what it is. And that's what we hope that's a place that everybody can get to. And then when you've said it before, like I'm still like, because you've done the work, because you have your blueprint, because you've done the experiments, you know that shredding to you is not just defined by an 11-day protocol. Like shredding to you is putting the fuel in your body that you know is going to work best. And when you're going to do an 11-day with the group, because they're fun and it's cool to get back to the basics and you can play a little bit more and let's do another experiment, like turn it into something entertaining, right? Yeah. And you're going to do it with broccoli. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like you're still shredding, whether you're doing a 1-day cleanse or a 2-day cleanse, you're still shredding, whether you're choosing no cleansing. you're still shredding because the way you're fueling your body is allowing your natural detoxification systems to do its job, which are probably gunked up right now if you haven't been taking care of yourself and they're not working the way they're supposed to. So these are all such beautiful, big picture, type of things, Chris, that we've kind of brought up. Like I didn't know we were going to get to all this, and I'm super excited. I'm excited as hell you smashed your scale. I'm excited I got to be a part of that.
Scale.
Yeah, I'm excited that you've been willing to, go through all of this and share, what it's been like for you and how you're able to overcome it and that it wasn't an overnight thing. Like, this is so valuable. Like, I hope you know how valuable this is. And I just want to commend you again for saying yes, because I know at first, like, you had those thoughts, and because I think it's because of the work you've done on yourself that you were able to look at it from a totally different perspective and say, well, wait a minute, like, who gives a crap? I'm not exactly where I need to be. That doesn't mean that I haven't done all of this amazing stuff that if I can help somebody not take 6 months or 7 months like I did, and they can eliminate all of that and get to where I'm at faster, like, hell yeah, let's go. So I mean, thank you so much for doing that. What did I miss? Is there anything that you can think of that you can give to somebody who's maybe struggling, who's maybe in the same spot? Did we touch on everything? And we could have. I'm just asking just in case.
I think we hit on everything. I really feel like I'm okay that it took me that long to get here. Because, they always say if things didn't happen the way they did, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm thrilled that I am where I am today.
Yeah.
And that I'm finally on my path, like you said, and
yep.
like I said, there's people that have lost 50 and 60 and 100 pounds, and
yep.
But I'm good with being on my own health journey.
Yeah.
That really makes me feel good.
That's amazing.
I'll get past, I know that now I'll get past, because of ER Shred, I'll get past any crossroads.
Yep.
Being a shredder taught me how to feel me. It gave me the determination, the dedication, the desire for a healthier life, because I had a little taste of it. I felt it, and I like how that feels. I like how it feels on me. I even like how it looks on me. Like, I can see a difference. I can, even though I still have that 15, 20 pounds to lose, I can still see a difference. And I still feel a difference. I feel it. The shred has taught me to nurture myself emotionally, spiritually, physically, and to believe in my best self. And I've never been more excited or more positive about my health journey.
Beautiful.
So that is huge to me. And
for sure.
And I just, like you said, if anyone has taken anything away from this, in my addiction to the scale and everything else, that if they can feel that good about themselves, I'll feel good about this call today.
Yeah.
I really, I will.
Beautiful.
And I want to thank, the board. I want to thank you guys for answering any whiny questions I might have, and all of your support, and as I've learned me, but even more thanks that you didn't coddle me or you didn't enable me. And at first it pissed me off a little bit, like when you told me I couldn't have tea. And by the way, since March 2021, I have not had a cup of tea. You know what I drink now? Warm water. And I love it.
Yeah.
It actually tastes a little sweet to me. I love it. I would rather drink that than a bitter cup of green tea. I love my warm water. But you taught me to, because you didn't enable me, you taught me to focus on me and learn me and not depend on you to do that. That was my job. That wasn't your job. And you taught me to be a shredder, and see the difference in winning and losing. And the winners just keep doing it. They'll just keep doing it and keep doing it. So I will be a shredder for the rest of my life.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. I really am so proud of you. I know at first it seems weird, and I know some people want to kick me in the head, and they're probably like, "What an asshole this guy is." I'm sure I've been called a dick. I'm sure I've been, but you know what? I can take it all. I can take it all. I got a big back, and it can take a lot of arrows, and I will take them till the day that I die if people can have the realization that you've had, because I just sense freedom from you and this sense of peace. And I mean, I can only imagine, how that translates into so many other things. I mean, I usually ask people the question at the end, what does it mean to live the shredder life? And I mean, you've basically just answered that so beautifully. So, I mean, I'm going to take that as your answer because it was just so eloquently put. So thank you again, Chris. I know this is out of your comfort zone. Really, I really do. I'm really so excited for you. To watch people grow. It's my passion. And for you to be able to allow me to have just a little piece of that and sharing that with you, I'm forever grateful. I mean, I don't think it really lights me up. And I'm really just so happy for you to watch people have this control and to realize that health is wealth. And when you start to understand that it's not just what the stupid magazines talk about and what the freaking social media says, like it's so much more. And when you understand that, it's not weird anymore. It's not woohoo. It's not crazy. Like it's about internal self-love, and we deserve that. Like we're designed to be freaking amazing. Like we should honor that. And we get one life, right, Chris?
Yes.
One life. Like you keep grabbing that life because you deserve it. Like you deserve it. You deserve all of this. You deserve all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, man, I got goosebumps. I hope you did too. That was intense. So listen, do us a favor again, drop into the comments. Let us know what tips did you get? What value did you get? Put some cliff notes in there for some people that they can browse through and read. Let us know if there's anything that you can take out of it. Give Chris a big, big shout out. She's always in the group. She's there to support people. Like she said, she might not be on lives, although she might do more now. Who knows? But she's not on lives all the time because you got some power in you, girl. I don't even think you realize it. Like you're good. She's always there supporting people. And I love that about this community is that we start off, hurt or wherever we're at. And then once we get it, it's like this internal thing just turns on, and all these people just keep showing up and they keep coming back. And we've built this community like that because everybody's beautiful. Everybody has these logs to throw on the bonfire. And when we do that, man, do we burn so much bigger and so much brighter. So thank you, Chris, for continuing to show up. Thank you for supporting other people. You don't have to do that, but you do. And it just shows like how just awesome of a person you are. So we all thank you very, very much too. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Smash the share button every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Another amazing deep dive, another story, more tips, more tricks, more science. If you're not in our community yet, what the hell are you waiting for? www.ershred.com. Get there. www.ershredders.com takes you in the community. Answer the 3 questions. Get in there. Be a fly on the wall. You freaking deserve the same exact thing that everybody else does. And that's just epic freedom and amazing health and the power to just be in control of you and your life. So we hope you have an amazing night. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.